Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our May GGDA meeting. Very happy to announce that we have Zane Everett with us to talk about being a Unity certified instructor. Very sad to announce that we're losing him. He's going to a state just a little east of Georgia called Cambodia. Must be somewhere around Arizona and Idaho and Philadelphia. I think those states are together. Okay, I know my geography a little better than that. So we hate to lose him, but he will be a Unity certified instructor, the only one in his part of the world. He's been doing great work talking about Unity here, and we're looking forward to the presentation tonight. Now, before I go ahead and turn it over to him, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about other events coming up. Another Unity expert, Dr. Unity himself, James Simpson, will talk on May 19th about how he used Unity to create Cutthroat Cavern and to port it from tabletop to a mobile game. And on June 12th, we will be having our SimFest day of virtual presentations. We thought it'd be hybrid with some on-ground in Columbus, but it looks like it'll all be virtual again. But we're going to be announcing some really cool virtual workshops, so stay tuned for those. And with that, let's go ahead and turn it over to Zane, from the Unity Certified Instructor from IGDA-Atlanta. Take it away, Zane.
Thank you, Andrew. So, as Andrew mentioned, today we're going to be talking about how to become a Unity Certified Instructor and what all that means and everything associated with it. But starting out, who am I? So, my name is Zane Everett. I am a Unity Certified Instructor. I have been in that, or had that certification, and you may hear me talk about the Unity Certified Instructor as partly a role and partly a certification. That's because they can be both. As far as the role, I've been in it for about 6 months now, but prior to that, I've been using Unity for about 10 years to create 21 released titles. Almost all of those have been educational in some way. Started out making games about biology and then switched to VR. 4 of those VR titles were about military and law enforcement or training safety, more enterprise stuff, things along that nature. Up until March, I was the IGDA Regional Coordinator for the US South, and up until last week, I think, just a few days ago, I was the chair for IGDA-Atlanta. I have since stepped down for the reasons that we are having this talk. I am relocating to Cambodia to be the only Unity certified instructor in the area, as Andrew mentioned. So you can see here, I've got 2 certifications from Unity down in the bottom. One is being a certified instructor. The other is that I'm a certified professional programmer. I'll explain a little bit more about what that means a little later. If you guys want to look for me on LinkedIn, I am fairly active on LinkedIn and keeping up with contacts, and that is a link there. I think towards the end I may slap that in the chat, because I've got another link towards the end of this presentation. So, what exactly is a Unity Certified Instructor? So, if we talk about it in terms of the... Hey baby, I'm on stream. So, what does that mean? So, if we talk about it in terms of a certification, what this means is that you have passed 2 different certifications. I'll explain what those are in just a bit. Then if we talk about it in the form of a role, basically it means that you're permitted to give instruction in Unity on behalf of Unity Technologies. You occupy somewhat of a gray area in that you're not employed by Unity themselves. So you do get some information a little early, but not like super early as if you were an employee. You're essentially an authorized freelancer, meaning that you work for yourself, filling some of the roles that you see here. You're authorized to be a teacher. They can be a teacher for a university, for a private company, for your own company. You can be a content writer. You are allowed to post stuff to Unity Learn. You can work for other universities, writing curriculum, making your own tutorials that are posted up in Unity blogs. You can exist as a community leader. Now, I've been a community leader for several years now, but other UCIs also are in charge of Unity user groups in their local area. And they participate with IGDA. If they have any local chapters like the GGDA, they participate with those. And are kind of the communication link between a local area and Unity themselves, communicate information back and forth. UCIs also give professional development. And so what do I mean by professional development? There are several layers to that. Unity, if you go onto the Unity Learn website, offers several live events throughout the course of a year that are associated with different tutorials on Unity Learn. Unity calls those live Learn sessions. As a UCI, you are permitted to act as a teacher or a moderator for those sessions. Unity also hosts private workshops where basically if you're a private company, you can say, hey, Unity, I'd like to bring my employees, I'd like to upskill them a little bit, where maybe you can teach them dots, or you can teach them new rendering pipeline technologies. So a UCI would teach those specific workshops to individuals at a private workspace. UCIs are authorized to give those. As I go through this, I'm going to be talking about Unity Authorized Training Partners and Unity Academic Alliance. The Unity Authorized Training Partner is basically a private education institution that is authorized by Unity to deliver some of these workshops in almost like a university setting, except they focus a lot more on Unity certifications. As opposed to the Unity Academic Alliance, which is offered towards universities and is much more of an academic role. Essentially, working in professional development, you are allowed to work with these two types of organizations. In fact, in order for a authorized training partner to exist, they have to have at least one Unity certified instructor on payroll to be able to deliver those professional workshops. So in that, I've mentioned some opportunities that are available to UCIs, but in this I'm going to talk a little bit more about opportunities that I have had directly in the 6 months that I've been working as a Unity certified instructor. The very first one here is Unity Live Learn Delivery. So a little plug, if we open that up on May 17th. Oh, there it is. So May 17th. For the 4 weeks that the Create with Code session is going to be going on, in 2 of those I will be one of the moderators for those particular sessions. So if you go on to the Create with Code and you sign up for that, you participate and you ask questions, there is a good chance that I will be the one answering your question. Excuse me just a second. I'm going to take a drink. So that is one opportunity that I've had recently. I will say that with the Create with Code, that is a particular workshop that is designed for people that are brand new to Unity. So if you've been using it for years, the information may not be relevant to you, but I'm still happy to answer your questions if you come in and ask questions. So I've also done some workshop delivery. There's only so much that I can say about that because of NDAs, but essentially I have been able to give 2 workshops to private companies. Had a great experience teaching a group of people how to improve their skills using Unity. This came from a catalog that is offered by Unity if you're a private company, and if you have more interest in that, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be able to connect you with the right people, and if you go through me personally, then basically the way that works is UCIs that recommend workshops have first right of refusal to teach that workshop, so you might have me as a teacher. Back in January, I did a little instruction for a university in Cambodia. That was pretty cool. It was challenging because of the time zone difference, because I was here doing it remotely. But it was kind of awesome. It was a really small class, and these were a group of students that had never even heard of Unity before, but it was part of their curriculum. They had to go through it, and they wound up actually creating a pretty cool game for what was given. That task was a little difficult for me because I created the curriculum at the same time, but now I've had an additional opportunity to teach that same course again next month. But this time I don't have to create the curriculum for it. Hopefully it'll be a lot easier. So I have not done this yet, but as a UCI, you are able to act as a Unity authorized training partner instructor. I have not done this yet, but it is a deal that ATPs are required to have UCIs as the instructors of Unity-sponsored content. And so this gives you a little bit of job security if you seek one of these out. I've been in conversations with a couple. Can't give much more information than that, but after about 6 months, that pipeline is starting to work through. If you do this for a while, you do have the opportunity to become the owner of an authorized training partner company. So that would lead to more advantages. You can create your own content and sell that, and teach more people more Unity, and that's awesome. So the next two I've done quite a bit of at this point, and some of it was actually before I became a UCI. So I've been an instructional designer, which basically means that I have been writing the curriculum and the syllabus and the course content for actual universities. I've done this for 2 universities at this point and had contracts from it. Fortunately, both of those are under NDA, but that has been really cool that I've been able to do that and actually shaping what is actually taught at universities in the near future. And then finally, I've been a content writer for Unity. I did this before I actually became a UCI. So what I did was, as I was going through the process, talk to people at Unity, they offered me some contracts to basically write material for Unity Learn. I did a lot of review for making sure that some of the Unity Learn content was up to date based on new versions, and so that was a really cool experience where I got to share my knowledge of the engine and my expertise with people actually at Unity. So that was neat. Yeah. So those are some of the ways that you can work in this role as a UCI, but how do you become a Unity certified instructor? So there's 2 different requirements that you have to meet. The first is that you have one of the 2 Unity certified professional certifications. You can either be a programmer or an artist, and depending on which certification you get will depend on what type of courses you teach, because I have the professional programmer, I teach programming stuff. If you're an artist, then you can go for the 3 artists, and you can teach art things. So what I have here that can be shared is Unity has actually pretty recently constructed a pathways for people to become a UCI, and it goes through the different steps of what one would need to do to become a UCI. It takes you from the very beginning of going through some Unity Learn tutorials, and about how long you would take to go through some of these and begin learning, and the different how long it would take and the different pathways. And they suggest some additional content. But this is where the meat of it comes in. To become either the certified professional artist or the certified professional programmer, they recommend going through these and then taking these certifications. Again, if that is a path that you're interested in, reach out to me. I can share this document with you. And if you, one deal is if you have the invitation to be part of the UCI program, can get a single voucher for you to take this, but you have to work with Unity themselves to get that going. The other side to this is you have to pass the CompTIA CT Plus exam. So this is ensuring that you are a competent instructor on specific training material, on technical training material. This was the harder test for me, probably because I've had 10 years of experience working with Unity and not nearly as much experience actually teaching. This is an exam to get you through that. There are 2 parts to this. Does it have it listed here? Yes, so there we go. Exam details. There's 2 exams that you have to take. The first one is a multiple choice exam. It's basically a pre-exam. It covers a lot of teaching theory and how you teach adults as opposed to teaching children or in university settings. If you've done instruction before at any point, you may find it easy. I found it a little bit difficult, but was still, with some studying and the right book, was able to pass it the first go. The second part of the exam is that you either have a live classroom performance, which is probably not going to happen. So this is like you're actually in a classroom with students. It's probably not going to happen right now, and no one's really expected to go for this exam at this point. But there's also the virtual classroom, which was what I took. The way it worked was I got a handful of friends together and I said, hey, I'm giving this instruction. I would like you to participate. And I picked out a technical topic and decided to teach that. Technical topic I decided on was actually how to use the Sin Machine cameras in Unity. I got a bunch of friends that had either not used it or had minimal experience with it. And within the course of approximately 20 minutes, taught them how to use Sin Machine. I recorded that and sent it off to CompTIA, and they graded me on it. So once you have passed both of those certifications, then you would inform your Unity representative that you've done so, and you would begin the onboarding process of actually becoming a Unity certified instructor. Excuse me. So, I want to give another example of an individual that has benefited from going through a very similar program. This particular talk was supposed to be about my jet-setting life, but I have another example of a different jet-setter that was from Atlanta. His name was Jonathan Weinberger. And I reached out to him, and he said it was okay for me to give this information. So he went to DeVry here in Atlanta. I think just before I went to DeVry in Atlanta. He graduated a couple years before me. He worked at Adult Swim. He worked at AGS. So these are homegrown Atlanta places. But he started his process of going through Unity education a little bit before the UCI program started. And he got in as a Unity authorized education partner. He developed his own company out of doing so. He's the owner of Game Dev HQ. And at this point, he now lives in Honolulu, where he, I assume, stays on the beach every day. I can't guarantee that, but that's the mental picture that I have in my head, and I hope not far from the mental picture that I have of what I'm going to be doing in Cambodia. Though that's probably not a reality. So, I just wanted to show that there are other individuals that have gone through similar programs from our area that are benefiting from this. So directly, how did I become a UCI? Step 1, obtain 10 years of creating educational games using Unity. I don't think you need 10 years. What I see is, on average, UCIs probably have about 4 to 5 years of experience. I guess I'm a late bloomer there, but it has given me the opportunity to create several titles. I got involved with my local community and started trying to kind of promote the use of Unity, either through the Atlanta Unity developers community here, or through the GGDA, or through IGDA. And so, was it 2019? Went to GDC, and Unity had a booth out there, and I was a little disappointed at the fact that Unity had stopped having Unite in the Western Hemisphere. And I went to go complain at Unity's booth. I did so politely, very nicely. I understood the pros and cons of why they did so, and they explained to me that, they have moved away from just the naming of a Unite, and for the Western Hemisphere, they're calling them Developer Days. I think there's some communication there, but that's awesome. How could I get one in my city? And started working towards that. I met two specific individuals, and I started maintaining a relationship with them. They were both, they worked with Unity Learn, and so from there I started doing research for Unity. Some of it was about the Developer Day in Atlanta, which, we'll put that here, unfortunately had to be scrapped for 2020. The small, tiny pandemic. Even though I'm stepping down from the IGDA role and did all of that research and legwork as part of IGDA-Atlanta, I have actually left that information with Karen Williams, the new chair for IGDA-Atlanta. So hopefully, as soon as the world returns to something like normal and there's live events again, hopefully that will be a thing that can happen. But I continued communication with one individual about that, and continued communication with another individual about how local universities were using Unity. I shared some information with them. There's a long story to it, but some of that information helped with fleshing out some of the recent changes to Unity Learn. So I was supposed to meet with these two individuals for GDC 2020. Again, how that happened. I wound up having a virtual meeting with them later on, and they asked me, did I want to become part of this UCI program? They explained it to me, and I said yes. The biggest reason I'm sharing this specifically is because it hits on some points that are really talked about when you go to how do I enter the industry type of events. And even though I'm 10 years on, I've had a dramatic shift from what I was doing to what I'm doing now. I was doing production. Now I'm essentially doing education. And that shift was facilitated by doing my research and maintaining good relationships. Like, those are the two biggest things that you should be doing at conventions. Be an expert in what you're doing and maintain good relationships. That's talked about in every single how do you get into the industry talk that exists, and the lesson still applies 10 years into my career. But then, why am I going to Cambodia? Well, the very first reason is I've got family there. My wife is from there, and the decision to be closer to them was one that we made a couple of years ago to see if we could reshift our careers to be able to make that happen. But beyond the family element, there is a lot of growth happening, not just in Cambodia, but in the region. Cambodia is on a growth trajectory up until COVID. Since, I think, 2010, they've had an average of 7% GDP growth per year. 2020 threw a big horseshoe in that, but it threw a horseshoe in everybody's growth and plans and everything. And the idea is roughly the same in the rest of the region. I know that Laos and Vietnam have had several similar growth trajectories for the past 10 years. Thailand has had something similar, save for a handful of years where they've had blips. Singapore is a base of operations there, and essentially is a base of operations for Unity. But while they do some development there, they don't have any Unity certified instructors. It is an area that is overlooked, even though it's growing tremendously. And the growth patterns and population trends are very similar to what happened to China throughout the 80s and 90s. I guess the noughties. There was a large amount of U.S. investment into China at the same time that they had population growth trajectories in a certain pyramid. And the same pyramid exists now in Southeast Asia, and now China and Japan and South Korea and Singapore are investing a lot of money into the area. So there's just this tremendous possibility for growth. Being the only Unity certified instructor in the area means that I would be covering all of ASEAN to help facilitate that type of growth. And it's something I'm really excited about after meeting my wife and getting married, and having visited Cambodia several times. I am very passionate about seeing the area grow and seeing the types of stories that people from the area can tell, because at least to me, they're distinctly different from the stuff that we see very commonly in games. And I don't want to knock the themes that we typically see. Personally, I feel like a lot of them are played out. Things like Vikings and things like ninjas and pirates and medieval and sci-fi. And I feel like there is a set of stories here, both about Southeast Asia's own culture and history, as well as their modern timeline. There are unique perspectives here that deserve to be shared with the world, and in a way, I'm moving to help facilitate those ideas. So yeah, I'm deeply passionate about it, and it's exciting to me. That is basically how to become a UCI, and my take on how I became one and why I am relocating. I have a LinkedIn. See if we can get that shared, and look forward to communicating with anyone. If you have any questions about the UCI program, any workshops that maybe your company would like to see, I'm happy to help facilitate those. Feel free to reach out. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Zane. Let me show up on screen and horrify everyone. Oh, there we go. OBS cooperated. All right, before we let you disappear gracefully off into Discord, let's go ahead and get a few questions asked out there. So as a Unity certified instructor, who are you seeing as your main clients?
So for me, and because of how I am moving to really an untapped market, I see three slices, and this probably applies to most UCIs, although I think that a majority of people going through the program focus on one, but in my unique situation, I have to focus on three. And those three slices are individuals that are looking to increase their Unity skill set. So you can join some of Unity's live learns, and as a UCI, you would be participating in those. As a UCI, you can sell
Unity Discord just crashed on us. Sorry about that, everyone. Let's see if we can get Zane back.
Write their curriculum.
Hey, Zane?
Yes.
Discord crashed on us, so we are still going because I had it thankfully also on another computer, so we didn't lose this channel. But okay. We will back up.
Do you think all of that was cut?
You got some of the conversation about who showed up, but then let's see if I can get...
Okay.
People are hearing us now, but they're not seeing us. So
Okay.
I'm still trying to rescue the craziness of what it decided to do.
All right. Well, I'll back up just a little bit, and it's okay if they don't see my bald head anymore. So I don't know where.
There we go. It's alive again.
Okay. So I don't know. We had some technical difficulties. I don't know where we dropped off. Essentially, the three pillars for who you're targeting to: private individuals. They want to learn more of their Unity skills. That's done through adding content to Unity Learn, offering certification exams, the learning material for those exams, and teaching to those exams for individuals. You've got private companies that may be looking to upskill their workers. They would purchase workshops from Unity, and you, as a UCI, would teach those workshops. The third pillar is for universities. For them, what you're doing is writing curriculum, helping them with the certification pathway if that's something they're interested in, creating learning material, being somewhat of an advisor about the curriculum to the universities. And so those are the three different main areas that you are acting as a UCI. One other one that seems kind of rare, but I've seen one or two people do, is they go headlong into the content writing, where they're not necessarily focused on like individual customers. These are people that are writing books. As far as I know, out of the 100 or so UCIs, I only know of 2 of them that are invested into content writing, as their main source. So you could do it. It seems more uncommon. So
now, when they started the entire certification program, it was pretty clear that much of it was aimed outside of the game development community. They're really pushing it to more traditional industries that knew they needed these tools but didn't know what they were getting. We're often hiring people who said they knew Unity and really knew nothing. Is that still the case? Are you still seeing it? Do you see UCIs helping a lot of non-game dev clients, or they're also getting a lot of game dev clients as well?
So my experience has been a mix of both. Though it does seem as though the professional development workshops are often more geared towards the non-game related, the architecture, engineering, construction, the automotive, transportation, manufacturing. I haven't seen any film in my experience, but that doesn't mean that that's just me. But there is some interest from game companies, and it's been my own personal digging up that there are game companies in Cambodia and Vietnam that are interested in the individual certification program and being able to have the workshops so that they can upskill their workers.
Yeah, very cool. So what do you think is the main, or what are some of the main things that game devs can learn from UCIs? How can they benefit most from working with the UCI?
So I think that depends on their level of experience with Unity, or at least this is the way I would divide it up. So if you're new at this, using Unity, that's probably where you're going to get the most benefit out of working with a UCI or individually, like part of the live learns. There's a lot more content out there for beginner work, but I don't. If you are a seasoned developer, and if you're working for a company, going the route of the workshops is incredibly useful. I have to think how much I can say here, because it's about a client. So, client that I worked with for professional development, they were all very seasoned at using Unity, but they needed help with a particular aspect of game development, so they went and purchased a workshop for that. And by the end of the course, they were much more proficient at that particular subject that they were wishing to learn, even though they had people on the team that did have years of experience. So I think if you have years of experience and you work for a company, the best route to get better help from a UCI is to go the route of the workshops, or convince your company that they should go the route of the workshops. Or maybe you're part of a local organization that can group together enough people that you could individually attend a workshop. You probably still have to pay your rate individually, but by everybody being in a group, Unity would be able to come out and give those workshops to the organization, like the GGDA or the IGDA or the Atlanta Unity User Group.
Yeah, that's a great point. Remember that a lot of you work for companies that have worker training programs and budgets to spend. So if there are areas you want to learn or you think your coworkers need to learn, more likely, go ahead and let them know. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move Zane into the Discord Voice General channel. So jump in there, join us there, and thank you everybody for having been with us this evening. See you in Discord.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Andrew.